There are some people we meet in life who don't just look at us for who we appear to be right now. They look deeper. They see past the fear. They look beyond the failures. And somehow, even without saying much, they seem to speak directly to the version of us we've been quietly holding within. The version that's been buried under years of self-doubt, guilt, and the pressure to stay small. And when these people speak, it doesn't feel like ordinary conversation. It feels like they're not speaking to the person in front of them, but to the part of us we've forgotten. The one that still wants to grow, still wants to rise, still believes in something better. That is exactly what Krishna did, time and time again, for those who came close to him. He didn't win them over with flattery. He didn't try to manipulate them by praising their surface strengths. Instead, he went straight to something deeper. He awakened something that most people didn't even know was still alive inside them. That quiet inner voice that whispers, "You were made for more than this." In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a simple but powerful line where Krishna says, "I am the ability in man." He doesn't say, "I give ability," or "I reward those who already have it." He says, "I am the very ability itself, the strength, the clarity, the courage that already lives within you, even when you've forgotten how to feel it." And that changes everything. Because real transformation doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come through force or from someone fixing us. It begins when someone touches that one hidden place in us, the place that still dares to hope, still wants to heal, still wants to become the person we've only quietly imagined, but never said aloud. Every single one of us carries this silent dream. Not a dream of becoming rich or famous, but a dream of becoming someone we deeply respect. Someone steady, someone kind, someone who doesn't get shaken by every failure or consumed by every fear. And the rare person who speaks to that dream, not with sugar-coated words, but with truth, leaves a mark we never forget. That's exactly what Krishna did for Arjuna. When Arjuna stood in the middle of the battlefield, his body trembling, his heart full of grief, his mind in chaos, it wasn't just a war on the outside. The real battle was happening within him. He was confused, overwhelmed, unable to move. He put down his bow. He looked at Krishna and said, "I cannot do this." And Krishna didn't rush to rescue him. He didn't say, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." He didn't try to remove the pain. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He spoke directly to Arjuna's highest self, the self beyond fear, beyond confusion, beyond ego. He reminded him of who he truly was. Not a title, not a role, not just a warrior, but a soul with a clear path and a deeper strength that was always there, waiting to be remembered. That was Krishna's gift. He didn't feed illusions. He didn't try to distract Arjuna. He simply brought him back to his own light. And that's the power of real guidance. It doesn't make you feel dependent. It doesn't make you feel small. It reminds you of who you've always been, even when you forgot. Today, many people feel lost. And it's not just because life is complicated or fast-moving. It's because they've lost connection with that inner dream, the dream of becoming whole, the dream of becoming true to themselves, the dream of living a life with quiet dignity and clear purpose. People are not starving for more information. They are longing for vision. They want to feel seen. They want to be spoken to, not as problems to be fixed, but as souls with something sacred still waiting to unfold. And the person who can speak to that, not with performance, not with ego, but with real presence, becomes unforgettable. You don't have to use clever words to influence others. You don't have to pretend to be perfect. What you need is to speak to that same longing. The longing to rise, to be better, to come alive from the inside out. So when Krishna says, "I am the ability in man," he is not offering a future reward. He is pointing to a truth that is already living inside you. That your strength, your clarity, your potential, it's not far away. It is already present. All you have to do is stop doubting it. And once you truly believe that, everything begins to change. You stop waiting for permission. You stop holding yourself back. You stop looking for someone else to tell you that you are ready. Because now you know. The readiness is already inside you. Krishna doesn't give you a new identity. He removes what was covering the real one. He doesn't add more noise. He removes the fear, the guilt, the hesitation. And what's left is your original self. Strong, awake, fully alive. This is the version of you that can speak clearly, act bravely, and walk with your head held high. Not because you are perfect, but because you are finally in tune with something true. When Krishna looked at someone broken, he didn't see weakness. He saw the beginning of healing. When he looked at someone afraid, he didn't see failure. He saw someone ready to rise. When he saw someone lost in guilt, he didn't judge them. He simply reminded them of the path home. Because he didn't see people for what they had done. He saw them for what they could become. And he spoke to that vision, again and again, until they started believing in it themselves. That's the art of transformation. Not forcing, not fixing, but holding a mirror to someone's soul, and letting them see what was always there. You don't need to change people by pressure. Speak to their deepest self, the part that still remembers what it was like to feel strong, to feel clear, to feel inspired. And when you do, you won't need to push them forward. They'll start moving on their own. That's what Krishna did for Arjuna. That's what the Gita still does for us today. And that is what you can do for others. Not by shouting, not by correcting, but by seeing them, truly seeing them, and reminding them of who they are. We live in a world that keeps pointing out what we are lacking. But the Gita points to something else. It says the divine is not far away. It already lives in you. You don't need to chase it. You only need to stop covering it up. And that uncovering begins when you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of fear, and begin to see yourself through the eyes of the divine. That's not imagination. That's not a fantasy. That's the truth. And that truth is what wakes the soul from its sleep. So if you've been carrying a quiet dream, if you've been holding back a part of yourself, waiting for the right time, maybe that time is now. Not to become someone else, but to return to who you've always been. Because Krishna doesn't add something new. He simply shows you what was already there. He speaks, and the old fear starts to fall away. He speaks, and something strong begins to rise. And that rising, that's not something you wait for. That's something you begin, right now. Because the ability has always been in you.